Howdy ho, folks. Today I got this response on Twitter. Uh, and it seems like there's a little bit of a deficiency here in common sense. I mean, now I know gun control advocates will always talk about common sense gun laws, like they even know what common sense is, or like they even have common sense. But this one here is just so it illustrates the lack of common sense that a lot of gun control advocates seem to not have. So, without further ado, I want you to see this tweet. And I've actually shown the whole thread, from Dana Lash's comment to my comment to the response I got and to the response to that from somebody else. So, there you go. Now, I've already responded to this guy on Twitter. You know what? Over a series of several tweets, because you're only limited to 140 characters on Twitter, I figured that's not enough to spell it out to this guy. And yes, I hope you're watching. Okay, so the creators of South Park, well, they're comedians. They're cartoon writers. Everyone knows that South Park is a comedy and it's for entertainment purposes only. Everyone knows, obviously, that the creators of South Park really aren't out there to kill anybody. And in fact, a lot of the scenes where they do end up killing somebody, it's a shock value. I mean, this is a cartoon where you have kids saying all sorts of messed up stuff, right? I mean, the killing in there in South Park is mainly for shock value. I don't think the creators of South Park would really condone killing any of these people that they parody killing. Well, I don't know, maybe Bin Laden, but you know what? They haven't really voiced an opinion on that one, Maybe Saddam Hussein, but they haven't really voiced an opinion on that one, though. But you know who has voiced an opinion on this? Here, I'll show you. You see, you might say, well, they're just trying to be cautious. They're only trying to look after the welfare of everyone else. Well, you know what? They're not. And they're really not so innocent on this one. Look, the fact of the matter is, if you're a law-abiding citizen, you're not going to be hiding the fact, that you're carrying a gun if you're open carrying. If you're a convicted felon, open carrying would be the stupidest thing you could do. If your intentions are to go kill someone or rob someone or something like that, you're not going to be walking around with the tool you're going to be using to commit the crime. That would be stupid. Well, you're not going to be walking around with it showing openly. In fact, the only time it's coming out is when you intend to commit that crime. You want to talk about concealed carry? Again, most states, you have to have a license to conceal carry. There are only one or two that you don't. And to get those licenses, guess what? In every instance, you have to go through more to get a license to conceal carry than you do to buy a firearm. And there's no firearm law that's going to satisfy people like the CSGV or people like those at CSGV. They're always going to say, well, that person just hasn't been screened well enough. Person could have gone through 10 mental health screenings, an in-depth psych evaluation, have a crystal clear background that's constantly, they're having a background check constantly run on them. They could have been an upstanding citizen their entire life. Never showed an iota of bad judgment. And the CSGV will still say, well, that person didn't go through enough screening. I guarantee you that. If we had those standards, the CSGV would still be screaming about lax gun laws. And it's not like they don't know this sort of thing gets people killed. Let me show you. I know this is a meme, but this is based on an actual event. This is in response to an actual event that happened. Basically, what happened, person on the right, John Crawford, was shopping at Walmart, saw a BB gun he liked to buy, bought it. Oh, well, didn't actually buy it, picked it up to buy. Excuse me. He was walking around the store talking on the phone with his mother. Person on the left decided he saw a man with a rifle, thought it might have been an open carrier, so he decided to call the police, lie to them, tell the police that John Crawford was pointing that gun at the kids. Police show up, immediately shoot John Crawford. And you can look at the footage at Walmart. You can clearly see John Crawford picking up a BB gun, walking around talking on the phone, holding the BB gun, and you can see the police shooting John Crawford. But no, John Crawford did not point the gun at kids. Now, it's also worth noting that, and this is why I don't believe any gun control advocate when they say they were prior service until they prove it, is because the one on the left, Ronald Ritchie, the guy who swatted John Crawford, the one who lied and told police that John Crawford was pointing that BB gun at kids, also claimed to be a Marine, which turned out not to be true. Sorry, Ronald. Unless you make it through basic training, you don't get to call yourself a soldier or a Marine or a seaman or an airman. Your claim to being a Marine or a veteran is not true. But again, this is why I don't, also a side note, this is why I don't believe gun control advocates when they claim that they're veterans up until they prove it. Is because gun control advocates like Ronald Ritchie are willing to lie. And most gun control advocates are willing to lie to push their agenda. These people are pathological liars by nature. But you think this is an isolated deal? You think that that gun control advocates really aren't that violent of people? Let me show you a few more. You think those people are really concerned with public safety? You think they're really that peaceful now? Come on. Yeah, come on, dude. Who are you trying to convince of that, me or you? Actually, I've gotten a few pretty violent responses from gun control advocates. You want to see one? Well, who goes? Yeah, no. He totally, was just trying to be a comedian right there. Despite the fact that, he doesn't have comedian in his profile, doesn't have cartoon writer in his profile. Nah. It's not like he has a show on Comedy Central, which, his viewers watch based on the shock value humor, such as, maybe South Park, with, made by Matt Stone and Trey Parker. Nah. Oh, and I don't think Shannon Watts was a comedian either. You notice a theme here. Calling the police on people, wanting to put these gun owners in jail, the swatting tweets telling us to kill ourselves here. Oh, by the way, another thing I got to show you from CSGB. Yeah, it didn't turn out on Movie Maker as well as it turned out on Photo Bureau. But basically, what it says is far more convenient for those good guys with a gun. You notice how he put it in quotations, who want to protect their families, girlfriends, co-workers, etc. And then the device is titled Remington debuts its new split-barrel murder-suicide shotgun. I guess they took that off The Onion. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, you can find that on the internet. Just type in what I said verbatim, on CSUV's tweet. I don't think they've taken it down. Because in their minds, having a gun, it makes you a bad guy and therefore makes you worth killing. Which is kind of how a lot of gun control advocates really are, or really see things, should I say. But you know what else is a little bit more damning? Is when you want to when you advocate silencing an organization that speaks up against your views. Here's an example. See, this is at CSGB. Obviously, it reads no more NRA. Now, can you imagine if, say, John Locke came out and said, no more CSGB? Well, what about Dana Lash? If she came out and said, stop the Brady campaign? Or Wayne LaPierre come out and say, end Mom's Demand, or end Everytown. There would be a backlash like you wouldn't believe from the gun control groups, and even some of these mainstream media outlets would be saying, are the pro-gun side really for freedom as they claim that they are, or are they just out there to protect, to force everyone to have a gun, or something along the lines of that. Do the pro-gun side really believe in all freedoms, or do they just want to keep their guns? Yeah, and by the way, you replace everything I just said, as a hypothetical situation for the gun control groups, replace the gun control groups with the NRA, and those were actually used by groups such as the CSGB, Unite Blue, and various other gun control advocates on the internet. I mean, shoot, even if just some open carrier, or somebody like me who doesn't have really much of an audience, come out and said, in the CSGV, in the Brady campaign. Stop Mom's Demand. No more Everytown. Well, the gun control groups would be using that to try to sit there and paint gun owners, firearm freedom advocacy groups, and firearm freedom advocacy, or firearm freedom advocates, out to be fascist. You see, and the reality of the situation is they are the ones that are fascist. Do I believe that the person who made that video about Dana Lash shooting herself, do I believe that he thought it was funny? Oh, yeah. Do I think he would think it was funny if that happened to, say, somebody like Dan Gross? No. If it happened to somebody like Shannon Watts? No. It would be, not only would gun control groups be all over that one, claiming that this was hatred by the by the pro-gun guys, and it was a threat by the pro-gun guys. They would be calling the FBI too. Hell, I'm blocked by Shannon Watts, and I'm blocked by just about every single gun control group out there. And I didn't even do anything like that. A lot of the times it's just me either disagreeing with them or, kind of making a really mild insult, like calling them gun sense people. Or things like the tweets you were responding to. That's the sort of thing that gets me blocked, flagged, marked as spam, reported for harassment. So I have no doubt in my mind that if somebody did that to Shannon Watts, nobody on your side would think it's so funny. All right. Hopefully this has been an educational experience to you. So, y'all take her easy now.